Hello. Hey. Hiya.
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 Hey, Rachel, that was nice. Thank you. That's my office. You ready to worship on Sunday?
What? You want to try again? All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Podcast time. Oh, Lord help us. I like answers to be very natural. I don't like people to have to think about them. I like the podcast to be very natural in conversation.
Okay.
And then we get moments like just happened where we had to stop recording to come back to a question that I've already asked. So all of you know what's going to come here. So here we are. This is last week. Chris Saccarillo did the podcast, crushed it, did an incredible job. And one of the last questions, maybe not the last question, but one of the last questions I asked him was, if you could give the people watching a piece of marriage advice, what would you give to them? And so here, Samantha's been married. She got married during COVID, so she's been married 3 years. Chris and Rachel, 17 years. Almost 17 years. Maddie's been married 20.
We have been married 20.
Right. We have been. Yes. So Maddie you have been as well.
To you.
To me, right. So we have been married 20 years. and so
you're not getting rid of me.
No, absolutely not. So piece of advice that you would give somebody watching this, maybe they're married, maybe they're not married and interested in getting married one day, or maybe they got a friend going through some issues and they're just going to capture some marriage advice here in this moment. What marriage advice would you give to them? Rachel, start us off. Chris ended. Rachel, start us.
I would say don't believe the lies that the culture says you can fall out of love. Things change and adapt and you grow and you just have to do it together. Instead of thinking, oh, I don't feel the connection or the passion. I think you just have to obviously put God at the center and spiritually grow together, but adapt and change. And you won't be the same person as life goes on. Neither will your spouse. So you kind of just have to have open conversation about how you're growing and changing and adapt together.
Yeah, great. One of the things Chris and I talked about was 1 Corinthians 13, where this is what love is. Love is not a passionate. The passion I feel towards her is just because I won't say we're on a podcast. That's the reason I feel passionate towards you.
PG rated.
But love, the reason I love her is because I'm committed to be patient and I'm committed to be kind and I'm committed to be long suffering and to not be proud and puffed up. I'm committed to doing those things for her, and that's what love is for me. Love isn't I think she's beautiful. That is because I think she's beautiful because she is my taste. Love is 1 Corinthians 13. This is what love is. So I agree completely. Like when people say, oh, I just don't love them anymore. And so what you're saying is you refuse to be patient with them anymore. Mm-hmm. You refuse to be kind. You don't fall out of that. You make those decisions to say, I'm not going to be kind anymore. I'm not going to be proud anymore. And so, yeah, totally agree. Samantha, 3 years, newlywed, still no kids, got a dog, no kids. You got life figured out. So give us all some newlywed marriage advice.
First thing that popped into my mind was communication, but specifically when you're both triggered. So when you're in an argument, how to work through that and fight for each other through that, because you're going to both be bringing in, like, Dan is totally different in an argument than when I'm in an argument. I might shut down and he's ready to work it out right then and there. So we had to figure out how to make that work, and that has made a huge difference. I've had to learn how to not be so stubborn in those moments. It's not about being right. It's about figuring out how to mend whatever the argument is about, so that you can move forward in a healthy way.
That's a good one. Yeah, because so often people communicate completely differently, and then when you have the heightened emotions of whatever the thing is triggering you or them or whatever it may be, you have the heightened emotions of that, then communicating on different planes makes it even more difficult to work through issues. So, and the truth is you're always bringing in extra baggage into those moments as well.
Yeah, it's some that you don't even know that are there.
Right. You're bringing in back.
You have suppressed for
right.
so
right.
long.
Or you think are normal based on your family.
Right. You're bringing in baggage of your childhood into those moments. You're bringing in baggage of a bad day. You're bringing in baggage of I'm hungry and angry. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that influence those moments if you're not careful. If you don't have, we always call it a rule book. If you don't have a rule book of this is how we do things, then you get to those moments and it's the wild, wild west. You get to do anything you want to.
Yeah.
So good job.
Yeah.
Madeline, 20 years,
So
married to a stubborn, difficult,
I thought you were going to say a stud. I was like, yeah.
stubborn, difficult, hard-headed fella. Give the people some marriage advice.
Oh. I pray a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously do that. I know I was joking about the whole we thing, but it's so true. Like, marriage is not just you or not just your spouse. Like, everything that you do has to be a we.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything. Even if, obviously not like a birthday surprise or something, but like everything in life is we. What's best for us, not what's best for Jamie or not what's best for Maddie, even though some of us, I know I'm a little bit more selfish in all instances or circumstances or whatever the right word is. I don't know them very well. But everything has to be we. Like, what is best for me and him at this time? Or if you have kids involved, what's best for our family? Like, you can't be selfish anymore. Once you enter a marriage,
tough.
you can't be selfish anymore. Even if you want to, you got to fight those selfish tendencies and learn to apologize.
Mm.
It took me a really long time to start apologizing.
Maddie would always
changed
say,
everything,
I'm sorry. No, what was it you say?
Oh, I've changed.
You have changed. But she used to always, she would never say
That's
it.
what I meant, or that's what I...
that's what I felt, or something of that nature. It was
Instead of
never,
me saying,
I'm sorry, please
sorry.
forgive me. It was always,
Well, I just said it right
you
then.
knew that I, and you're like, no, I didn't. No.
That was me saying it right then. Yeah.
Yeah, it is so true. We and your finances have to be a we. I'm totally, when we do Marriage 101, Rachel and Chris do Marriage 101 with us. When we do Marriage 101, one of the things we say when we're talking about budgeting is it's okay if you separate your life, but you have to know this is the reason I'm doing this for the we. Now, Dave Ramsey is very adamant that you need to be together and do your finances together. But if you're one of those people where you're like, she's got her account, I got my account, I pay these bills, that's okay. I'm not talking about that, but I'm just saying, even in spending your money, there has to be an understanding of I'm spending it for we. I'm doing it. I'm making these decisions for we. In your health, in housework. Why am I doing laundry? Not because I want to do laundry, but because we need the laundry done. And so we do the laundry, right? Why is Maddie up washing dishes? Not because she wants to wash there's no love for washing dishes. You're washing the dishes because we need the dishes washed. Why am I burning trash? Because we need the trash burned.
Or because your kids won't do it.
Right. So you got to work through those issues, understanding that sometimes it's not about what I want to do in the moment. It's about what do we need as a household done in the moment and doing those things for it. And then you say things like, I don't know big words. How do you spell tubing?
Tubing.
It's
not a big word.
Me and Cammie
It
are
was 4 letters.
the worst spellers in the world.
And you added the something verb. Yeah, but that's called a verb. What kind of verb? An action verb to it.
yes.
You made it an action verb. Instead of a noun, it's now an action verb.
Do you know Maddie,
what that is?
No. Whenever I am writing words that I don't know, I go definitely, and then it spells out definitely, and then I have to click on it and then say look up to make sure that it's actually the word that I'm trying to say, and so I do that at least 10 times a day.
Dan does not do that. He just spouts out words, and I'm like, I'm not sure that's what you
That
meant.
ain't even a word, Dan.
It's not a word, or it's so far out of context, but he's so confident in it, and he's like, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah, I came up with a word whenever we started doing campus ministry. I came up with a word called replicatable. That's a word. I think so too, but everybody told me it's not. It's replicable.
Yes.
Everything can be replicatable. That's what I think too. They can't hear Caleb, but Caleb said everything can be replicatable. And that's how I feel as well.
It can be replicated.
Replicated, but I wanted things to be replicatable. And so I would keep saying it and everybody would be like, it's not a word. And I'm like, it is a word. Sure. Like I just said it, so it's obviously a word. You know?
I'm sure it's on one of those like slang dictionary sites.
Don't go to those slang dictionary sites because you get all kinds of words that.
But I'm sure it's somewhere.
I'm sure it's somewhere. Yeah. What are you drinking, Samantha?
Water.
What are you drinking, Rachel?
Water.
I am as well. What are you drinking, Maddie?
I am drinking Starbucks pink drink.
What is?
That looks like Pepto-Bismol.
What is in the pink drink?
Strawberry and coconut milk. And water. First ingredient is water.
There you go. So you're kind of drinking water as well.
That means it's the most in here because it's the first ingredient, right?
Yeah,
Nutrition, right. Rachel?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's true.
So
main ingredient.
It only has
coconut rose.
7% juice. So really, I'm just drinking coconut milk and water.
So
that's been dyed pink.
So today we are leaving to go to the Ark as a staff and all of our families.
Yeah.
The Ark in Kentucky, the Creation Museum is there as well. My dad, before he passed away, I'm not even sure if the Ark was finished being built whenever he passed away, but it was in the building process, or as it was being built. My dad would always say, "I want to take my kids, my grandkids to the Ark." It's something that I've always had this desire or intrigue to go over the last few years, and so we are renting a big bus and got us a bus driver, and he's driving two bus drivers because the task is so long, it's too far, and so we're renting a bus
30 minutes.
and we are going to Kentucky to visit the Ark. Now, twofold reasons for this. Number one, it's going to be a great staff and staff family outing, all of us connecting. Number two, I love creation. I love the spiritual side of this. I love apologetics. I really think Caleb and Jevin, I really think they're going to walk away. Those two specifically are two that I thought about, are going to walk away and have ammo in their pocket for the future of, this is why the guy who does it, Ken Ham, his ministry is called Answers in Genesis. And basically he says, everything that you have questions about, the answer to them, it's in Genesis. And so from marriage questions, the answers are in Genesis, all the way to, what happened to dinosaurs and everything in between, the answers are in Genesis. So I'm really excited for the spiritual part of this, to be able to see the Ark come alive, a story that we've never seen. Everybody that pulls up says to me, or that has been, says that when they pull up, you think you know what you're getting into, and then you see it and you're like, wow. And so I'm very excited to see, I'm very excited to see the Ark. But they say spend a whole day walking through, and also in the Creation Museum, and you're going to the apologetic side of the Bible hopefully is going to come alive for us. And so for us, there's a lot of things to talk about there, a lot of fun stuff we can talk about, from bus rides and trips and things of that nature. So, but also spiritual things with Genesis, apologetics, things of that nature. So best trip you've ever been on as a family, as a kid, as a church group, whatever, no holds bar here. Best trip you've ever been on.
Time out. Can you explain to people what apologetics means? Yeah,
apologetics is Caleb, look up the official definition, but apologetics is basically refuting or disputing or being able to explain, defending the Yeah, apologetics is defending. So, like God's Not Dead, that movie where the guy's defending his stance on things. The case for Christ, God's Not Dead, is that same sort of concept. The case for Christ, the case for creation. These are actual facts about why this makes sense. Why is the world round because this is what Isaiah says about the sphere of the earth. Here goes what the Bible said way before we saw it this way. This is what the Bible says. How do we know evolution isn't happening? Well, here goes what we've seen in science. We see none of, these transitional fossils. There's no such thing as transitional fossils. There's just this group and this group. There are no transitional fossils. For there to be evolution, there has to be transitional fossils, which is actually what Darwin said we would find a great group of transitional fossils, and we've never found them, but yet everybody still banks on Darwin saying that evolution is a thing. And so now we're way smarter, way wiser than we were when Darwin, made these claims, or these, he's traveling through the rainforest, seeing things and saying, wow, that almost looks like it's a mix between this and this. Evolution is a thing. Here goes how it happened. And he from observing created this theory of evolution that today we're way wiser, way smarter, and we've never seen any transitional fossils. So that's apologetics. How old is this bone? This bone is 27 million years old. Well, where do you get that number from, right? And so all of a sudden you start getting true science behind how are you dating that bone, and you see that they can't date that bone back that far. So that's apologetics.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry.
So that's all right.
Back in.
No, leave that in. So, so best trip you've ever taken, family trip, youth trip as a kid, best trip you've ever taken. This is the best trip I've ever taken. Samantha.
Gosh. The only ones that are coming to my mind are Montana camp and the marriage cruise. I love traveling with our church family, and I didn't grow up in youth camp at all, so experiencing that was incredible, like a full week of it. I've gone to PD before to do like worship nights and stuff, but to just be there through the whole week and see transformations of the kids and of our staff, and incredible. And then marriage cruise, it's fun, but you're also pouring into your marriage.
You going on a marriage cruise this year?
Still don't know.
Okay, just making sure.
Dan,
she said this is the best trip ever.
Let's repeat it.
I love it. He's still deciding. We're kind of deciding if we want to try something on our own this year for vacation, or if we want to give that another go.
Did you hear she said we?
Yes, we're trying to decide. We've discovered we vacation very differently. I'm go, and he wants to just relax. Yeah. So anyway, we're trying to decide if we can have that balance on the marriage cruise, which will be me not being so go. But.
Yeah. Rachel, best trip you ever took?
I mean, short term family trip with my parents 2 summers ago to Grand Teton.
Grand Teton.
Yeah.
Teton?
That's from Moana?
Teton. Teton. T-E-T-O-N.
Where is this
Teton?
magical place you're talking of?
Teat.
This way on the map. Montana, Wyoming.
Okay. So it's in the continental
right?
USA?
Caleb, give
Is
me
it
a
in
thumbs
Yellowstone?
up. No.
Is it in the continental USA?
What?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out. Yes. I'm trying to figure out.
It's in a state.
It is in a state of the U.S.
I've never heard of this place.
What?
It's in Wyoming.
Okay. Wyoming.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought this was an island that you were going to.
No.
Okay, Wyoming. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
Wyoming.
they're hikers.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was awesome to share with my parents, and we had a great adventure. But overall, it's like this bittersweet thing. Every single trip compares to when I went to college and to Amman, Jordan, when I lived overseas.
How long? How long did you live there?
4 months ish. Mm-hmm. So it's like a blessing and a curse because everything kind of compares to that trip. But it was a totally different season of life.
For sure.
Because
it would be hard for you to leave your kids now for 4 months to go live in.
Yeah, I would never
Jordan.
want to do that.
Right.
No, I don't want to replicable that one.
Yeah.
But I've always talked about wanting to take them with me there sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely by far my favorite trip. But it was more of a life
For sure.
experience.
Totally
than a
understand.
Trip. But yeah, going all to the big places, Israel and Petra City and all of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Maddie, best trip. Maddie's a traveler. She loves it.
I do. There's not just like one. Anytime I go to Disney World.
Not anytime. The last time was not fun.
It wasn't as fun. It was fun.
Still
Just
fun.
wasn't as
Still
fun.
fun.
Yeah,
Just not as
Disney. I would say the most kind of impactful instead of fun, because I mean Hawaii was fantastic.
Hawaii
Yes,
was
I love
fantastic.
that. I would like to experience that with our children. But
If we don't, it's okay. We'll go back again alone. It was fantastic.
I would totally say when we went to South Dakota,
Yeah, it was awesome.
it was incredible.
We drove from South Dakota up to North Dakota.
That part was not incredible.
Well, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
It's a pretty drive.
So memorable. I mean,
We had to
so
pee on the
beautiful.
side of the road
Because there's no gas stations
there's
for hundreds of
nothing
miles.
anywhere.
Pretty view.
It
while
was
it's
the
happening.
some of the most beautiful views
with
ever.
cows watching.
And then we get to North Dakota and we do a camp meeting there, and then we took the train, the Amtrak.
And I got COVID.
On the
Won't
Amtrak, we
drive
took the
Amtrak
Amtrak
again.
over from North Dakota over to Montana to
That was
meet the rest of the
beautiful.
team.
It was pretty.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
Incredible trip.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, beautiful trip.
Beautiful.
What about you? You don't have a mic on, so you got to tell me quick, and I'll tell everybody. What's your favorite trip of all time? 19-year-old, been everywhere, traveled the world. What's your favorite trip?
Cubs World Series was awesome.
Cubs World Series year. We went to Chicago, went to a game
Two
where
games.
were bleacher bums in the first game, and I was like a giddy little kid sitting out there. They got a picture of me sitting, and I was so giddy. I felt like I was 8 years old. I really did. And
And we got to watch Prime Giancarlo Stanton.
prime
Marlins
Giancarlo
team.
Stanton
He
crushed the
all
ball.
of that series.
And the guy who pitched that night was the guy who was killed in a boating accident. That was really good. Jose Fernandez. Yeah, he was great pitcher. And then that was the year. Then the next day we went back and we had like eighth row, seventh row behind third base dugout, which is Cubs dugout. And so we're sitting there. It was phenomenal. Great
It was a
trip.
good time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Russell family, for that. Kyle,
Yes, thank
Monica, we love y'all. Thank y'all for. Hopefully you watch this still. If you don't, you should. And tell Cruz I said.
Maybe visit us
I
sometime.
said, "Hello, Cruz, Emilio, my friend."
Fernandez died 2 months later.
2 months later, after that, Jose Fernandez passed away. Got in a boating accident. It's crazy. So, anyways, that was awesome trip. Chicago was incredible trip. So Samantha, you never went on church trips?
Nope.
Me neither.
Maddie either. Rachel?
I definitely did.
Yeah, like you went to like
Youth
Winterfest and things of that
it wasn't
nature.
called Winterfest,
but
it's
like
something
stuff like that.
Yeah, like
yeah.
giant like teen talent shows and youth camp.
So
all of it.
you got on big buses and did like dance stuff, like we traveled places like that.
We traveled every year. We'd go to nationals. So that was like our summer trips. We go to New York or Vegas or wherever they were holding them.
Same thing for you. You did big bus trips for different things, school for grad night and things of that nature. Got on big buses and went places.
Right.
So give me a story from bus rides. You have a bus ride story? Surely somebody in here has a bus ride story. We'll start with Caleb. Caleb, you don't have a microphone, so tell it to me real quick, and I'll tell the people your bus ride story.
Red Bull rolled to the back seat.
Red Bull rolled to the back seat.
And we gave it to Roberto Slate.
Roberto Slate.
His eyes were
And
massive
he was probably 12 years old. My son was not in leadership at the time. If he was 12, that means Roberto was 12. That means Caleb was only 16. Y'all 4 years difference, 5 years.
No,
That was last year.
Senior high school. So senior in high school giving this 8th grader a Red Bull, and
encouraged him to
and
give
he
it to him.
he was
highly recommended.
Don't do that.
don't do that on bus trips. All right, bus story.
Okay, so
man.
whenever we traveled, we didn't travel on a bus, but I will say growing up, we used to have to prep for dance competitions or plays, whatever we were doing at the time. And so we used to have to wear like curlers in our hair and like full face makeup to school. So those bus rides were never
That's
very fun.
awesome. Bus ride story.
I don't know if I have a specific one, but we always played like sweet and sour with passengers, you know, like where
Okay,
you wave at
yeah.
people, see if they wave back. And then we always sang songs or like, We Are the Titans. You know that one from the movie?
No.
We are the Titans, mighty, mighty Titans. So we would always sing that.
Nice.
Did y'all ever do that?
We are not.
Shibuya. Yeah.
No.
Shibuya. Roll call.
No.
Hey, my name is Jamie. Yeah, and I got
No.
Yeah.
and I can dance,
Just make something up.
dance.
No.
We can turn
Maddie,
into
bus ride story.
I don't have any.
No bus ride story.
No.
No RV story riding around with your grandparents.
No.
No stories. You blocked them all out.
Probably.
Just put 'em in the back.
I remember sitting in traffic in
I remember riding on the bus with our family when we took the little
okay.
bus when we went to Disney.
And what's the story?
Your brother being ridiculous.
Yes, he was. He is absolutely ridiculous. I remember sitting in traffic. We were on like one of the little 16 passenger buses, and we're sitting in traffic with the windows rolled down, and we all just started shaking the bus back and forth, and it almost, I mean, it felt like it almost fell over. I was probably 15 at the time, so it probably didn't really almost fall over, but it really felt like it.
Yeah.
So as we go into an ark encounter and we see all of the beauty that is Genesis, creation, all of those sorts of things. Hopefully you've had conversation with your family. Hopefully you've thought about it, like what you're actually excited to see, or something that you say, hey, I'm super intrigued to see how they do this, whatever it may be. What is it that you're excited to see this weekend? Whoever wants to start.
I would think that just the ark itself,
Yeah.
The grand size of it.
Yeah, and then going in and seeing how they had each animal, like, you know how some of them had to be separated, like how they kept them separated, how they kept them, like where their grossness went, like, you know, like that just intrigues me. Like, how did they manage?
How they function,
Yeah, how they functioned. Yeah.
Super intriguing. I can't wait.
Good word, function.
I would say Jeff and I have talked a lot about, like, him and I have similar brains when it comes to, like, creation stuff. Like, we just love, like, if scripture is so clear of what God did, but then just thinking through, like, maybe what's not written down, like, kind of in between the lines. Like, you know, God was creative, and, I mean, it shows in what creation is and what we have today. So we like to think about, like, in the creation part of it, like, kind of where were we, not us as people, but, like, God was there before all of us. And so it's fascinating to think about, like, the scripture that says, where were you when I, you know, basically formed the universe? So it's just like same thing as the ark. Like, you can't imagine it until you see it. And this is something that we're never see. Like, you can't see the universe from a bird's eye view. But just kind of being there where it's like teaching you about it, and you kind of read about it and see things like, man, the grand scheme of it is unfathomable, to know that we serve a God who is so big that we can't even picture it. Like, the ark you might be able to picture, but God is so big that you can't put him in front of us. And I think that's just fascinating.
Yeah, and the ark, it has very specific designs according to scripture, but there are definitely things like the inside that they're going to have to, in their minds, figure out and imagine, and like you said, paint between the lines. There are very specific, this is the size of the ark, this is what it looked like, but then things like inside of the ark, how did they do that? What is a wise guy who has studied scriptures, what does he think the inside of the ark look like? So that's going to be super intriguing. I agree. Samantha?
I mean, I would say the same as Maddie. I don't think I'm really ready for, like, the grandeur of what we're about to see and experience, and I'm excited for that. But I haven't looked up anything about it because I just want to get there and experience it. So I haven't really, Miss Kelly Rexall told me a little bit about, like, hey, there's a lot of walking, but, like, details I haven't really wanted to look into or research because I just want to experience it when I get there.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm excited for it. We'll see. We'll talk about it again in the future at some later date. But anyways, thank y'all for spending some time with us.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Wasn't too difficult, was it?
No.
Easy.
Anybody else got a song in their heart they want to sing?
I think we were just warming
Start
our
with the
voices.
song.
Warming your
With the
voices.
song.
Yeah.
La da da da. All right. Thank you for spending some time with us. Love you all. God bless you. Peace out. Let's go.